Back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Madame. If you have been here before, hi, welcome back. It's so good to see you again. So today I was actually having a bit of a debate of how I was going to do this. A lot of polls when I'm very indecisive, and after polling what I should do about these videos, I have like a 50-50 split on making one long video and then the other one being two videos, which is the patterning video for the coat and then do everything in one video. So what I've decided to do is that I will be patterning out the coat for Agatha Harkness from Agatha All Along in this video, and then in the next video will be the construction of the entire thing, which would be the shirt, the pants, and the coat itself, because I actually am still waiting for the fabric, lining fabric for the coat, because it took me a while to find the right color that I wanted, and I have everything else. I've got shirting fabric for her shirt, so that should go really well. And then yeah, so the plan is to do a mock-up and pattern it out so I'm ready to go when it's time to make the coat. I'm so excited. I've been wanting to make this coat for a really long time, since October of last year. I have preliminary sketches in my sketchbook, and so I also have this pattern that I absolutely despise but I can work off of. I just don't like, sometimes I don't like McCall's costumes patterns because they're really hard to understand, but I really just want the shape of the coat, and then I will do what I need to do to it to make it my coat. So, and then of course I'll be using muslin, and I'll be using paper for the pattern itself, and then yeah, I think that's it for that. So let's go get started. I want to focus on these two pieces first. Right now we just want the shape. So after pulling out the pieces of the pattern that I wanted, I just put it on the paper. The paper was not long enough to accommodate how long I wanted the coat, but in reality I just wanted the top portion of the pattern to sketch out, and you can notice that mice did eat away at this pattern, so it's best to have another paper copy of this pattern. And now a little ASMR cutting. And here I'm just cutting off any excess that I don't need. I did realize that this was a male pattern, so I didn't really have to upsize it at all. I'm glad I figured that out on the first piece and not the whole thing. Okay, and we're gonna do the exact same thing for all the other pieces, just to make like the basic shape of what I need, and then we will go from there. So I have to do a little bit more research. I have it cut out. I only have half of it cut out because I ran out of muslin, and it does get a little short at the bottom, but it is what it is. It's fine. So most of it's cut out. Like the base is cut out. I don't have the sleeves, but the sleeves are generally the same as like any trench coat, so that shouldn't be an issue. Anyway, I'll probably make it a little bit bigger around the cuff just so it can fold in or out. But anyways, that's not what we're here for. We're here for the coat. So we gotta figure out the belt situation, and then I have to figure out, get in focus. I have to figure out the belt, and then I have to figure out the belt and the pleating in the back, because that's like the one thing I'm getting stuck on. So we're gonna figure that out, and then I will probably be finishing this mock-up tomorrow because I have to go work on some school stuff, so that's fun. So yeah, so far it looks to be able to close, but my dress form is one size smaller, so we'll see if I have to add just like a little bit to it. But like, as I can see, that's how short I had to cut it because I ran out. So yeah, we're gonna continue on this. This is gonna be a month-long project, I feel like. So let me go figure out that belt. So after watching a couple of other people who made this coat before, I realized something, that the top and bottom of the coat is separate, which makes a lot of sense. It's all connected to the belt of the coat, and also like on the, like when I was looking at the inside, I'm like, what's going on with this inside? Why does it look like that on the inside? And I realized that the piece that I'm looking at, I'm gonna put it up here. The piece that I'm looking at is actually the belt piece, but it's just sewn into the lining. And the reason why it flares out the way it does is that I was watching somebody who made it, it's like a box pleat almost in the skirt of the coat, which would mean the amount of time that I spent drafting out the pattern for the whole trench coat is kind of out the window. All I needed was the top portion of it, which is perfectly fine with me. I needed to do it as we all saw. Mice ate the gosh darn pattern. But this really does help a lot in like fabric cutting and construction and thinking about what to do. I'm gonna keep looking at some more videos to see what else I can piece together and figure out. But I think we're on the right track. So good news, I'm not gonna complete like the whole thing. I'm not gonna sew it up. I just put it on. It fits pretty decently on one side, and I know if I do everything right, it will all fit perfectly. So right now, I'm gonna go and make out this pattern, make sure all the pieces are perfect in length and everything, and then I will actually start cutting it out of the main fabric. I don't have the lining fabric yet. That will be in the next video when we get it. So we'll just start off with this. Okay, all of the pieces for the complicated pattern, except for the front piece, are put onto paper. I will be cutting out the back piece like this and then adding this little triangle for the back of the coat skirt so that it all comes out perfectly. Unfortunately, I won't be able to cut the fabric down here. I'm gonna have to go upstairs and do that because I have more space. If you guessed that, I am actually cutting on the second floor landing because that was the only space that I had that could accommodate this amount of fabric, then you would be correct, because the fabric is actually going into my bedroom in a pile while I am doing this in sections. So we are starting the whole sewing process. I've started some pin tucking. I have the skirt sewn. I'm about to do the bodice part of the coat, except for the front pieces. I still have to cut those out. But with the pin tucking, this is something I've never done before, and I'm absolutely loving it. So it's just basically almost like a dart, but it's very, very, very small. And when I'm looking at the reference photos, I'll put one here. It looks like it's on this side instead of that side, instead of like on her shirt where you see the piece, the pin tuck itself. It's like this. So I'm gonna keep it like this, and I gotta do it on the other side. So basically, you're just taking a tiny bit of the fabric and you're folding it on itself, and then I have to iron this down still, and then you iron it down, and then it gives you this, and it looks cool. I love it. So I'm gonna continue sewing all this up. I still have to cut out the, so I'm gonna continue sewing all this up, and yeah, we should be in good shape. As soon as the lining fabric gets here, I can't wait to put it all together. And I just realized I still have to cut out the collar bits too, because I'm missing some of the collar. So, haunt it. So in order to do the tail, I have 2 pieces. And I have 2 pieces. And what's gonna happen is that the only seams that are, oh my God, one is the one I'm trying to figure that. One side is only gonna get sewn. It's gonna be this and this. And then I'm going to flip it because this is loose on the whole thing. The whole tail is free moving. This can be sewn onto the belt, sorry. This can be sewn onto the belt, and these 2 sides are sewn onto the front part of the belt. So it's time to go sew this up, turn it out, iron it down, and then start sewing the belt on, and then start doing everything else. Don't mind that, that's for a capelet that I'm making for Con. So this, so far, I have it pleated on the back. Doesn't, because I moved it. So the pleat is in the back, and everything lines up really well for the belt. Now, what I decided to do, I'm gonna lose a couple inches because I made a huge mistake in my thinking of how I was going to attach the skirt, because I realized that this is double-sided, this belt. So I can't do what I initially thought. So what's going to happen is I'm actually going to attach the skirt here on this seam line here, and then the back pieces will be ready, and I just have to sew on the front piece and then figure out the collar and then wait for the lining. Okay, guys, I am in love with it so much. The only thing I would actually change is probably bring the belt up a little bit higher than where it is. I think because this is a pattern for male jackets, which really annoys me a little bit. It doesn't sit right on the curves a little bit, but the belt, the tail I have on here, oh, it's amazing. I think I'll just keep it open just because her jackets usually open. And then once I get the lining fabric, this right here is gonna look awesome. I still have to make the pattern for the collar. This is my first tailored project I've done in a long time. I love the pin tucking that's going on right here. Oh, it's beautiful. I do have it pinned down here because I'm gonna hand stitch it down so it stays in place. And then once it gets here, it's free. Oh, I did not take an account for it being a male pattern. I should have, but it looks great. Now, now as we are waiting for the lining fabric, let us go. So she does technically have pockets in the side seams of her coat, but because I already put it together and I just feel like taking it apart to put in a pocket there, I decided to put a pocket on the inside of the coat. So basically it would be on the front facing of the coat. And I'm going to be attempting, my first time ever, to do a welt pocket. Now, welt pockets are normally seen on the outside of coats, but you know, you can also have them on the inside of them. I have like little pocket wands, not pocket wands. I have like little wand pockets in my Harry Potter cloak that I bought years ago, and it's basically a welt pocket. So I'm gonna actually try to attempt that. So here we go. So here I am measuring out where I want the welt pocket to go and how big the opening is gonna be. I believe, if I remember correctly, it is only an inch wide for the opening, and I'm marking it down with some chalk, and then after this I will sew it around in a rectangle with some thread. Now I am marking the middle line where I'm going to cut, as well as the triangles at the ends of the rectangle where I'm also going to cut to make just a small triangle for the corners. And I am using pencil because I believe it's a little bit easier to see than the chalk. This is where I'm going to be measuring out the welt part of the pocket, which is the thing that pops out of the pocket and hides the whole thing. I believe I measured this out to be 5 inches, but in reality I did have to change out the size of it because it was one was too large, one was too small. So it was like finding the perfect balance for this little covering. Now comes the fun part where I forgot to put interfacing before I cut. So I'm just going to put a little interfacing here to give it some stability. And then I'm just going to cut the same markings that I first did. I am also going to add interfacing to the welt of the pocket so we can also have a little bit of stability. Now comes the fun part of attaching the welt to the opening of the pocket. First, I'm going to iron back the 2 pieces of the rectangle as well as the triangles towards the inside, so it makes a nice little crease for me to attach the welt to one side. Sewing the welt and turning it and pressing it, I measured it into the pocket, and there are portions where I'm like, okay, this one's too big, now it's too small, and I have to redo it. I think I did it like 3 times, and it's okay. You know, things happen. It's fine. So I sewed the welt to the bottom portion of the rectangle. So once it is flipped upward, the welt is going upward towards the lapel collar. And now it is on to figuring out the pocket bag and sewing that on as well, which is a little tricky. One will be sewn with the welt, and the other will be sewed on the top portion of the rectangle. So now it is time to sew up the sides of the pocket bag, which is a little tricky because what you need to do is catch the triangles that were cut originally so that it doesn't like have a little bit of an opening when you're putting things in the pocket, and it gives it a lot more stability. And that's basically it for this welt pocket. I also top stitched the welt down so it doesn't go anywhere. So today is going to be a very exciting day because it's screen printing day. Let's go! So I spent like the last 2 weekends cutting this and weeding it and putting it onto this. This is basically an old painting frame that I had, and I just took the old canvas off of it. And then I just put, I hope I put the right fabric on, some organza that I had left over, which we have seen multiple times on this channel. And then this is just vinyl that I used. I'm gonna have to be careful right here because that cut out because I wasn't thinking. So I have to press this down as really hard as I can. And then I think this is a brighter pink than what she has. I think it's more muted, but this is the best I got. So I'm gonna be using this, putting it like maybe up here and going down really slowly, watching out for that. And then, where is it? It was under the cap of the sleeve, I'll move it. And then I'm gonna take this paint squeegee and squeegee it through these openings. Now, because this took me so long to do, I'm going to cut out the other one, the other middle rune, and just reuse all of this. I'm just gonna have to edit it a little bit because I don't think it fits fully into this section, but that's okay, I'll fix it. I'll totally fix it. So let's get started. All right, paint is on. This is exciting, oh my goodness. And then I'm gonna squeegee it. It's gonna be really hard for me to film squeegeeing it. So give me 1 second. There we go. All right, here we go. I'm so scared, hold on. Hang on. Let me put like a little bit of a weight so it doesn't move. Okay, Moment of truth. Oh, hold on. Okay, it did not turn out that bad. I think it's just like a little light in some areas and it bled in some areas, but it's okay. And I am going to go do the other sleeve real quick. Okay, so I moved it over here. It's not too bad. It bled a little right here, but I don't think that's going to be too noticeable because it's very light. So I'm going to have to see until it dries. But it looks good. A little bit from the original room got on there, but hopefully I can hide it with the new room when I go and cut it out and like fit it in there. But yeah, this looks really fucking good. I mean, there's some spots that are like missing some pigment, but for a first time, this isn't bad. I don't think it's bad, especially for a DIY crafter and cosplayer. So I'm gonna let that dry, and then it says that I'm supposed to iron it after it's done drying. So I will do that. We'll be moving the other sleeve off of the counter. It's actually on a case for soda because I need to move the cardboard because I need to get under it because I flipped it. Didn't know if it was all dry, so I gotta see if there's anything wet underneath, and I gotta go clean the area where I got paint on the counter and on the kitchen table because that is the biggest space that I have right now. Everything is still jumbled up and like a mess in my house because we're still renovating. So all in all, this worked on this scale. I don't know how it's going to work when I do the big runes inside of the coat along with the birds, because I'm gonna have to do that on paper. It's not gonna be on vinyl because it's just a lot and that's really expensive, and butcher's paper in like packing paper is so much more inexpensive, and I'm gonna have to do it that way, and I have to do it with the projector and not my Cricut because I tested out the paper on it and it did not work really well. So there is that. So I borrowed a projector from a friend of mine, so I'm gonna be hooking that up over the weekend and sketching out those runes. I might do one at a time. I might even put the pattern like together, all of the coat together, so that I can like cut it out of that pattern paper instead. I know it's like a lot of paper, but I think it's better to make sure that I'm right than to do it and then have it look bad. So we'll be doing that over the weekend. That's gonna be fun. So I'm so excited. Hey, so it's been a while since I did a little update on this project. Let's just say a lot of things got a little crazy. Now I have to buy more fabric because of course there's an issue. So a little update on what's going on. So I have painted all the lining pieces. All the lining pieces are sewn together except for the welt pocket lining bit because I realized that it is way too short. Of course it's too short. Why wouldn't it be the right size? Why doesn't anything go well for me here anyways? So I'm gonna have to go order more of the peach skin fabric, and I realized that the lapel pieces for the fashion layer of the coat are also not long enough for the lining. The lining matches up with the skirt of the coat, so that's good. It's just those pieces I have to redo completely and redo that welt pocket, which will just be the same process. I have the sleeves all painted up as well. They're not together yet, but they will be together soon. And I also have not done the collar bit because I can't do the collar bit until the lining is done, as well as the fashion layer is done, so I can drape the collar out where it needs to be. Besides the extra fabric that I have to buy, I have a new mic. And that's just one of the reasons why I wanted to stop this video here, because now that I have a new mic, this should make things a little bit easier and actually more exciting. I can just put the mic on me instead. And yeah, I actually like this mic a lot. I hope you like it too. It's gonna be broken up into two parts. The next part being the finishing of the coat, collar, that kind of stuff, along with the pants and the shirt. I just didn't want to make a video that's like 2 hours long and like have to deal with all that. And I just want to try and get this one out for you guys as soon as possible because I'm just really excited to get this costume done. So while I'm waiting for the fabric to fix up the lapel situation on the coat, at the beginning of the next video, I will be working on the shirt first because I actually have a plan for that. I just have to find the right pattern. I have the fabric for that as well, along with the pants. I'm just waiting for something else to come in for the pants, and you'll see why in that video as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that it's a little bit longer than some of my normal ones. If you're new here, thank you for sticking around. And if you have been here before, I appreciate you so much. I try to post every month, and I hope to see you in the next one.